Good morning, children. Well, our topic today is simple present tense to simple past tense for both regular and irregular verbs. So, you must have not heard these two terms before. What are regular and irregular verbs? So, this must be something new for you all. So, let us do what are regular and irregular verbs. You know, the verbs change as per the tense. As we change the tenses, the verbs change from one form to the other. And the first form of verb is the base form, that is the simple present tense. Next form is the past tense form, and the third form are the participle forms. For example, arrive, arrived, arrived, drink, drank, drunk. Here we have observed that the first set of verbs follow a pattern while converting from present to past and participle form, while the second do not follow any such pattern. So what are regular and irregular verbs? Based on verb forms, the first type are the regular verbs. They have got a fixed pattern for changing from one tense to the other. That is the verb base form plus D or ed or id. By using any of these suffixes, we may change the verb form from one form to the other. And these are the regular verbs because they have got a fixed pattern. And the next form of verb are the irregular verbs. For changing from one tense to the other, these particular types of verbs do not have any fixed pattern. They can't be formed by adding any fixed characters. For example, regular verbs. The first type are the verbs base form plus ed. Example, jump, jumped, jumped. Call, called, called. Look, looked, looked. So all these verbs, jump, call, look and many others are regular verbs because we can have a fixed pattern for changing them from one form to the other. Next is the regular verbs. This type is verbs base form and only D has to be added for changing from one form to the other. Example, like, liked, liked, agree, agreed, agreed, die, died, died. These are most of the verbs which end with E. So only D has to be added for changing from one tense to the other form. Next type of regular verbs are the verbs which ends with Y. We change from one form to the other form by changing Y to I and then adding ed to it. For example, cry, cried, cried, study, studied, studied, marry, married, married. And now we come to irregular verb forms. Based on similarities, irregular verb forms may be classified to 4 different forms. The first type, the group 1, all 3 verb forms are same. And in group 2, the past tense and the past participle forms are same. Present tense is different, past tense and past participle forms are same. And for group 3, same base form, that is the past form, the present form and the past participle forms are same. Only the past tense form is different. So these are 4 patterns based on similarities. There are no such rules actually, but still based on similarities, the irregular verbs can be divided into these 4 forms for our convenience so that we can remember them. So irregular verb forms group 1. Here all 3 verb forms are same. For example, hit, 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 cut, 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 shut, shut, shut. So can you see all the 3 verb forms are same here. Next is irregular verb forms group 2. They are having the same past tense and past participle form, only the first form is different. Let's see. Buy, bought, bought. Fill, felt, felt. Win, won, won. Next is the irregular verb forms group 3. We are having the same base form and the past participle form, only the past tense form is different. Come, came, come. Become, became, become. Run, ran, run. Next is the last form, irregular verb forms group 4. Here all the 3 forms are different. For example, break, broke, broken. Go, went, gone. Swim, swum, swum. Drink, drank, drunk. So here, can you observe that all the 3 forms are different here. Next is, here is just a list for us to brush up. Present form, past form and participle form. Accept, accepted, accepted. Add, added, added. Advise, advised, advised. Beg, begged, begged. Behave, behaved, behaved. Calculate, calculated, calculated. Camp, camped, camped. Carry, carried, carried. Deliver, delivered, delivered. Depend, depended, depended. Escape, escaped, escaped. Examine, examined, examined. These are all regular forms. Next is be verb, was, were, been. Bit, bit, bitten. Become, became, become. Begin, began, began. Dream, dreamed, dreamt. Or dreamed, dreamt. Drive, drove, driven. Drink, drank, drunk. Eat, ate, eaten. Fly, flew, flown. Forget, forgot, forgotten. Forgive, forgave, forgiven. Lay, laid, laid. Learn, learned, learned. Or learned, learned. Leave, left, left. Next is put, put, put. Read, read, read. Write, wrote, written. Wear, wore, worn. Write, wrote, written. So let us revise. Firstly, based on verb form, there are 2 types of verbs, regular verbs and irregular verbs. Regular verbs have fixed pattern for changing to past tense participle form, and this is verbs base form plus ed or d or id. Irregular verbs have no specific way to convert from present to past tense participle forms. As there are no specific rules for converting irregular verbs, the only way to know them is through regular practice and learning. So for regular verbs, you know that we are having the fixed form, so we can remember them as a rule. But since irregular verbs have no such fixed form, the only way to learn them is through regular practice and learning. So this is all for today, children. Thank you so much.